Have you ever noticed how the evenings feel different after a certain age? Not just quieter, but heavier. Like your body is asking for calm, yet your habits keep stirring the waters. After 60, what you do after sunset matters more than ever. A late dinner, a dramatic news segment, one last check on your phone, they all feel familiar, harmless. But they may be the quiet reason you're waking up tired, restless, or emotionally drained without knowing why. This video is here to help. We're going to explore 7 things seniors should stop doing after sunset, habits that disrupt your sleep, digestion, and emotional stability. And more importantly, we'll walk through simple, doable changes that bring back peace, clarity, and strength, one gentle evening at a time. You'll hear real stories, learn calming alternatives, and be reminded of something powerful. You deserve restful nights and brighter mornings, without needing to prove anything to anyone. So if you're ready to create a more peaceful nighttime routine, start by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and telling us in the comments, what's one habit you're ready to let go of? Your healing starts here, with awareness, kindness, and a quiet return to yourself. 1. Eating heavy meals or late dinners. Most evenings slip by gently. You finish the day, maybe do a few chores, and before you know it, dinner ends up on the table around 7:30 or even 8 how. It feels like a reward, a way to wind down. But the truth is, after a certain age, your body starts to whisper things you used to ignore. Digestion slows. Recovery takes longer. And what once felt like comfort, food can quietly turn into a burden your body carries through the night. Eating heavy meals or late dinners might seem like no big deal, but for many seniors it's one of the biggest reasons behind restless sleep, foggy mornings, and even elevated blood pressure. The body works harder to digest when it should be restoring. Instead of slowing down, your system is busy breaking down meat, sauces, or fried foods long after you've turned off the lights. And if you lie down too soon, acid tends to rise, causing that familiar burn in the chest or the back of your throat, stealing away the deep rest you need most. It's not just about discomfort. These quiet disruptions affect your hormonal balance, your blood sugar, and the way your heart functions during the night. You may wake up feeling heavy, nauseous, or strangely irritable, and never realize dinner was to blame. James, a retired carpenter from Oregon, used to eat dinner around 8 p.m. every night. It was always a hearty plate: steak, mashed potatoes, sometimes a glass of whiskey and dessert. He thought the meals helped him sleep, but instead, he began noticing he was waking up groggy, sometimes with a tight chest or sour stomach. His mornings were slower. He skipped breakfast more often. It wasn't until his doctor gently suggested adjusting his evening meals that he tried something different. Lighter plates, grilled fish with steamed vegetables, a small bowl of soup, or brown rice with lentils, taken earlier, around 6 p.m. The change was quiet, but powerful. Within a week, his heartburn faded, and his mornings felt less like a struggle and more like a beginning. His sleep deepened, and he began waking up with more clarity and energy than he'd felt in years. That's the difference small choices can make. You don't need a perfect diet or a rigid routine. But allowing your digestion to settle before you sleep is one of the kindest things you can do for your future self. When the sun goes down, think of your body not as something to keep busy, but something to gently prepare for healing. A warm, calming dinner, taken with time and intention, becomes more than food. It becomes a signal, a moment of emotional grounding, a reminder that peace starts in small decisions, like saying no to late-night snacking or skipping that heavy plate of pasta at 8 p.m. If hunger comes later in the evening, there's no shame in a light, calming snack, a spoonful of Greek yogurt, half a banana, or even a small handful of oats with warm almond milk. What matters is not control, but compassion. Not punishment, but pattern. With age, it's not about eating less, it's about eating wiser, in a way that respects what your body truly needs now. And often what it needs most is space. Space to unwind, to heal, to let go. So next time you feel tempted to eat just a little more before bed, ask yourself, is this comfort or is it habit? Your body is listening, and with every gentle evening choice, you give it a better chance to restore, to rest, and to carry you gracefully into another beautiful morning. 2. Watching dramatic or violent TV shows. Evenings are meant to be gentle. After a long day, it's comforting to settle into your favorite chair, remote in hand, and choose something familiar on the screen. For many, that means catching up on the news or getting pulled into a dramatic series or crime show. It feels like a way to unwind. But for those in their 60s and beyond, these types of programs can quietly stir the nervous system rather than settle it. Watching dramatic or violent TV shows in the evening can send mixed signals to your brain, especially when your body is craving calm. These shows, often filled with intensity, suspense, or disturbing images, stimulate the stress response, the same one you spent your younger years learning to control. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow, and instead of drifting toward rest, your mind begins to anticipate, to analyze, to stay on guard. After 60, your sleep cycle is more sensitive. The hormone melatonin, which naturally rises at night to prepare you for rest, is already produced in smaller amounts. The stimulation from a dramatic show delays its release, making it harder to fall asleep, and harder still to stay asleep. Many seniors describe it without knowing the cause, feeling tired in the body but restless in the mind. And the result is familiar: tossing, turning, waking up too early, and facing the next morning with a fog that refuses to lift. The truth is, what you feed your senses before bed becomes the mood your body carries into the night. If that input is stress, tension, or adrenaline, your system will reflect it long after the credits roll. This doesn't mean you need to give up your evening TV time altogether. It means honoring your nervous system's need for softer input. As the sun sets, your body is asking for emotional detachment, not more stimulation. Choosing content that supports that shift can make a noticeable difference in your nights. Her gentle documentary about nature, a cozy mystery without violence, or even an audiobook read in a soothing voice can help your mind transition into stillness. Some nights, turning off the screen entirely and letting music fill the room, a slow piano melody, soft instrumental guitar, or the subtle rhythm of a calming playlist can feel like exhaling the day. When the outer world slows, your inner world follows, and when your nervous system is given permission to release the day, your heart rate softens, your breath deepens, and sleep becomes something you fall into, not chase. What you watch is not just entertainment, it's an emotional choice, a message to your mind and body about what matters in this moment. After sunset, that message should be peace. Let your screen reflect that. Choose stillness over suspense. Choose calm over chaos. Your sleep, your clarity, and your emotional balance the next day are all shaped by that simple act of selection. And when you begin replacing stimulation with serenity, you're not just changing a habit. You're reclaiming your evenings as a time of restoration, not reaction. Quiet nights are not empty. They are full of healing. Let them work for you, not against you. 3. Having serious or stressful conversations. Some of the hardest thoughts come to visit after the sun dips low and the world begins to quiet down. You sit on the couch, perhaps with a cup of tea in hand, and suddenly your mind drifts to unresolved matters, finances, family misunderstandings, or words you wish had been said differently. That's when the temptation comes to start a conversation you've been avoiding all day, to open an email you shouldn't, to reply to a message that carries more weight than your heart can carry in that moment. Having serious or stressful conversations at this time may feel productive, but it often stirs the nervous system when your body is naturally trying to settle. What begins as an intention to resolve can quickly turn into overthinking, emotional tension, or arguments that last long after the lights go out. The truth is, at this hour your mind is more fragile, your emotional defenses are thinner, and your nervous system, instead of preparing for calm, is suddenly flooded with cortisol, the stress hormone that tugs at your heart rate, tenses your chest, and lingers long into the night. You may lie in bed afterward, playing the same conversation over in your head, tightening your jaw, clenching your fists beneath the blanket, wondering why sleep feels so far away. Margaret, a retired librarian from North Carolina, used to check her emails around 7 p.m. as part of her routine. One message would lead to another, usually from her adult daughter, often layered with emotion and unmet expectations. What started as a connection ended in conflict. She'd close her laptop, feeling upset and unresolved. Her nights became heavy, her dreams fragmented, her mornings drained. One day, her therapist offered a gentle suggestion: create a boundary between problem-solving and peacekeeping. So Margaret made a quiet rule: no emotional emails or family matters after dinner. She chose instead to sit with a notebook and write 3 small things she felt grateful for, even on the days that felt strained. The shift was subtle but real. Her nights softened. Her mind became a little quieter, and over time, even her relationship with her daughter grew more respectful because the late-night tension no longer spilled into early morning regret. Sometimes healing begins not with the words we speak, but with the ones we choose not to. After this time of day, you're not meant to be a warrior or a fixer. You're meant to be a human being preparing for rest, and the rest asks for emotional space. That doesn't mean ignoring your problems. It means postponing their weight until your mind is sharp enough and your heart is steady enough to hold them properly. That may be the next morning. That may be when you've had your coffee, and your body has realigned with calm. For now, protect this part of the day like a fragile flame. Let it glow softly and low. Put your phone away. Turn off the notifications. If something rises within you, write it down, not to solve it, but to release it for now. Give yourself a peace window, a buffer zone between the noise of the world and the stillness of your spirit. And remember, serenity is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of self-control. What you guard in this hour becomes the tone of your night and the tone of your next day. And you deserve nights that restore, not replay. You deserve to sleep with your shoulders relaxed, your heart light, and your thoughts at ease. Let this be your promise to yourself. Not everything must be handled tonight. Some things can wait, especially when your well-being is what's at stake. 4. Drinking caffeine or too much water. What you drink after dinner may seem like a small choice, but your body remembers it long after you've forgotten. Drinking caffeine or too much water in the later hours is one of those quiet habits that often gets overlooked, even though it may be the reason you're not sleeping well or waking up in the middle of the night, wide-eyed and wondering why rest feels so out of reach. Caffeine is more persistent than we think. A cup of coffee in the afternoon, a piece of dark chocolate after your meal, or even a cup labeled decaf can quietly stay in your system for hours. And after 60, your body takes longer to process it. What once gave you a small energy boost now lingers, keeps your mind just alert enough to make falling asleep feel like a task instead of a natural transition. Many seniors find themselves physically tired, but mentally unsettled, tossing and turning in the quiet dark, not realizing their tea or treat from hours earlier is still doing its work. And then comes water. Essential, of course, especially for joint health, digestion, and clarity, but too much fluid too late in the day leads to something deceptively disruptive, the constant urge to get up and use the bathroom. One trip may not seem like much, but multiple wake-ups chip away at your deep sleep, the very stage your brain and body need to reset and heal. You may fall back asleep, but not into the same peaceful depth. And when this happens night after night, the effects add up: foggy mornings, irritability, and a quiet sense of fatigue that no amount of napping seems to fix. The solution isn't to cut everything out, but to shift gently, just enough to protect your rest without feeling restricted. Many older adults find that stopping caffeine by mid-afternoon, say 2 p.m., helps the body wind down more naturally by dusk. And when you still crave something warm after dinner, switching to calming herbal teas like chamomile, peppermint, or lemon balm offers comfort without overstimulation. These teas have been used for generations to soothe the nervous system, aid digestion, and gently cue the mind that it's time to let go. As for hydration, think of your body like a sponge that needs time to dry before bed. Taper your water intake after dinner. Instead of large glasses, sip slowly, just enough to feel satisfied, not saturated. A few mindful sips, rather than a last-minute gulp, can make the difference between uninterrupted rest and a night punctuated by footsteps and bathroom lights. What you drink should serve you, not sabotage you. In these quiet hours, your body is asking for signals of safety, calm and restoration, and choosing the right drink at the right time becomes more than a habit. It becomes a ritual of emotional self-care. It says, I respect what my body needs now. I honor my new rhythm. I choose peace over pattern. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds you that health is not found in extremes, but in the quiet in-between moments where we choose what supports us, gently and with grace. Tonight, let your cup be one of calm. Let your rest be deep. Let your choices reflect your wisdom. Because after all these years, your body isn't asking you to do more, it's asking you to listen. 5. Using bright lights and screens too late. The quiet part of the night should be a signal to soften our voices, our pace, our thoughts. But all too often, instead of dimming down, the world around us lights up. Using bright lights and screens too late has quietly become a routine for many older adults. Not out of neglect, but out of habit. You finish dinner, wash the dishes, and maybe sit down to scroll through your phone, catch a show, or read the news on a tablet. It feels like connection, like staying informed, like relaxation. But for the brain, those glowing screens, TVs, phones, laptops, send a very different message. Stay alert, stay awake, it's still daytime. And this becomes a quiet enemy to rest. After 60, your body's natural production of melatonin, the hormone that helps you feel sleepy, begins to slow. You're already more sensitive to disruption, so every extra minute staring into artificial light pushes that sleep signal further away. What starts as an innocent routine turns into a struggle with restlessness, difficulty falling asleep, or waking up still feeling tired. The body may be tired, but the mind has been tricked into staying on. Ben, a retired teacher from Arizona, began to notice this in his own life. At 75, he would lie awake in bed for hours, frustrated, unable to drift off. For months, he thought it was just part of aging, but one evening, after reading about blue light and its impact, he tried something new. He left his tablet in the living room, picked up a paperback instead, and turned on a soft, amber-hued lamp. The shift wasn't dramatic, just intentional. Within a week, his sleep changed. He started falling asleep more quickly, waking up less, feeling steadier the next morning. That small decision, swapping brightness for calm, made all the difference. It's not just the light itself either. It's the stimulation, the headlines, the emotional pull of social media, the tension in a suspenseful show. These things might not feel stressful, but they keep the brain engaged, bouncing from thought to thought when it should be settling down. So much of your sleep quality depends not on what happens in bed, but in the hour before it. That hour is your transition zone, a sacred space between the noise of the world and the quiet of your own breath. When you fill that space with light and screens, you delay healing, but when you fill it with warmth, softness, and intentional calm, you begin to reclaim your natural rhythm. Try turning off devices at least an hour before you lie down. Replace the white lights in your home with warmer, softer tones as the day winds down. Create a gentle buffer where your body knows it's time to detach, to reset, to surrender. That's not just about falling asleep. It's about protecting your nervous system, about respecting your new rhythm, about choosing long-term clarity over short-term distraction. Let your nights be darker in the best way. Let them feel safe and slow and free from interruption. When you give your brain permission to turn down the brightness, you give your body a path back to deep, restorative sleep. And when you wake, you won't just feel rested. You'll feel returned to yourself, to your calm, to the rhythm you were always meant to follow. Quiet is not empty, it's preparation. Let the light fade and let rest find you. 6. Ignoring a proper wind-down routine. Most of us grew up with rituals at night. Brush your teeth, wash your face, pull the covers up while someone reads to you. There was comfort in the pattern. It didn't matter if you were tired or not. Your body knew sleep was coming. But as life rushed forward and the responsibilities piled on, many adults, especially in their later years, gradually let go of that gentle rhythm. Now sleep often arrives without preparation, like an afterthought squeezed between distractions. Ignoring a proper wind-down routine might feel harmless, even normal. But over time, it leaves your brain confused, uncertain when to slow down, when to release the day, when to shift into rest. Without those familiar signals, your mind keeps drifting, your thoughts keep circling, and your body delays the repair it's trying so hard to begin. Aging makes those cues more important, not less, because melatonin production drops. Stress takes longer to ease, and restful sleep doesn't arrive on command, it needs invitation. A wind-down routine is that invitation. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Small, repeated steps that gently remind your body, you're safe now, it's time to let go. Something as simple as rinsing your face with warm water, putting on cozy socks, or sipping a cup of chamomile tea can become powerful sleep cues when done with intention. And when these cues are repeated each night, your nervous system starts to follow. You begin to unwind sooner. You drift off more easily, you stay asleep longer. The power isn't in any one habit, it's in the rhythm you create. A bedtime routine is more than hygiene, it's emotional grounding. It's a soft boundary between the noise of the world and the stillness you've earned. Many older adults feel their nights have become unpredictable. One day to the next, sleep feels different. That's not just chance, it's often the result of skipping this ritual. Without routine, your body never fully enters the parasympathetic state, the one that slows the heart, relaxes the breath, and signals deep healing. With routine, sleep becomes less of a mystery and more of a rhythm. You no longer wait for exhaustion to force you into rest. You choose it, you build it, you honor it. This doesn't require an elaborate plan. Start with one act. Sit by the window for 5 minutes and let the air brush your face. Write down one thing you were grateful for today. Light a candle. Breathe slowly, let the quiet return. What you're doing is not just practical, it's sacred. It's a form of self-respect that says, I'm no longer rushing to the end of my day, I'm arriving. I'm slowing down because I matter. When you treat rest as a reward instead of a leftover, it changes everything. It changes how you sleep. It changes how you wake. And over time, it even changes how you feel about your days, because each one ends with presence, not pressure. Let your nights close like a gentle curtain, not a slammed door. Let the last thing you feel before sleep be care, not chaos. A proper wind-down routine is not a luxury. It's a quiet promise to yourself that no matter what the day brought, you'll end it in peace. And that promise, kept often enough, will carry you gracefully into tomorrow. 7. Exercising intensely. After 7 p.m., moving your body is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. At any age, staying active supports your heart, your balance, and your independence. But the way you move, and when, matters more than most people realize. Exercising intensely after 7 p.m., especially after 60, can quietly work against the very benefits you're trying to achieve. It's easy to understand why this happens. After a busy day, the house is finally quiet. You have the space and time to stretch, to sweat, to follow that online cardio video or strength routine. It feels productive. But while the intention is healthy, the timing sends a different message to your nervous system. High-intensity exercise raises adrenaline, increases core body temperature, and activates the sympathetic nervous system, the part that says, get ready, stay alert. And instead of moving toward calm, your body stays wired, your breath shallow, your muscles charged. You may finish your workout feeling accomplished, but when you try to sleep, the rest won't come easily. That's exactly what happened to Linda, a retired nurse from Ohio. At 66, she committed to staying fit and started doing energetic dance workouts around 7:30 each night. The sessions felt good, but something shifted. She began noticing her body was tired, but her mind was racing. She couldn't fall asleep until midnight, and even then, it wasn't deep. She felt drained by morning. Confused, she tried shifting her routine. She moved her workouts to late morning, and in the last hours of the day she simply walked around her block or did gentle stretching with music in the background. Within a week, her sleep began to change. She fell asleep faster, woke up more refreshed, and her energy actually improved, not from pushing harder, but from aligning her movement with her body's natural rhythm. Movement should serve your entire system, not just your muscles. After 60, recovery is more delicate, hormones respond differently, and sleep becomes one of the most important sources of healing. Exercise too late, and your body sees it as stimulation, not support. The goal, especially after sunset, is to prepare your body for rest, not performance. That doesn't mean you stop moving. It means you shift towards something more nourishing than demanding. A slow walk around your home, some light, yoga, gentle shoulder rolls or forward bends. These are not just physical actions, but emotional signals. They say you've done enough for today, you can let go now. When paired with soft music or steady breath, this kind of movement becomes part of a sleep ritual, a bridge between effort and surrender. Too often, we tie value to how hard we push, forgetting that restraint is also a form of discipline. You don't need to earn your rest through exhaustion. You earn it by listening, by honoring what your body needs, not just what you think it should do. As your years increase, so does your wisdom. That includes knowing the difference between stimulation and restoration. Pacing your day to allow wind-down time isn't a sign of slowing down. It's a sign of mastery. And mastery at this stage of life looks like choosing peace over pressure. So if you've been pushing yourself hard at night, hoping to feel better, take a gentle step back. Give your body a softer path towards sleep. Your strength isn't going anywhere, it's simply waiting for the right time of day to shine. And when you let movement become a form of self-respect, not just exercise, you'll find your nights deeper, your mornings brighter, and your energy more grounded than ever before. The smallest habits after sunset can quietly shape how well you sleep, how clearly you think, and how healthy you feel the next day. For seniors, making mindful choices in the final hours of the day isn't about restriction. It's about emotional grounding, energy protection, and long-term health. By letting go of what drains you and embracing simple, calming alternatives, you give your body permission to heal deeply each night. Remember, you don't have to change everything at once. Just start with one shift. Maybe switch your evening coffee for chamomile or dim the lights a little earlier. These small steps lead to real peace. We'd love to hear from you. What's one nightly habit you're ready to release? And one new ritual you'd like to try? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might inspire someone else. If you found this video helpful, please like it, subscribe for more senior health tips, and let's continue growing stronger. Together, one peaceful night at a time.